Welcome back to My Life on a GLP1, where we discuss the real-life experiences being on these amazing medications. I'm Scott Johnson, and I'm here with my co-host, Sarah. Today we're diving into something pretty fascinating that we've been hearing about from our community.
Hi everyone. Yeah, Scott, this is one of those stories that made us both go, wait, what? When we first heard about it. So we got this message from Sharon, and she tells us she's been on a GLP-1 medication for about 6 months now.
And Sharon mentions that for a long time, like years.
Years, which is crazy.
It is crazy. But she couldn't eat aged cheese without getting a splitting migraine. We're talking brie, cheddar, parmesan, all the good stuff that makes life worth living.
Exactly. And then about 2 months into her GLP-1 treatment, she's at a wine and cheese night with friends, completely forgets about her usual restriction and just goes for it.
And nothing happened.
No migraine. She thought it was a fluke, so she tested it again the next week. Same thing, no headache. She's convinced it's connected to the GLP-1, and honestly, the science is starting to back her up.
So for those who might be new to this, GLP-1 medications, we're talking Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound. They're primarily designed for diabetes and weight management.
Right, but here's where it gets really interesting. There was research published in 2025 that followed migraine sufferers who were also taking GLP-1 medications, and they found a 50% reduction in migraine days.
50%? That's huge. It was a small research study, but the study looked at over 300 patients across 12 weeks, and the results were pretty consistent across different age groups and migraine types. But the big question is why? The researchers think there might be 5 different mechanisms at play here.
Yeah, so first, these medications might be reducing intracranial pressure, basically the pressure inside your skull.
Second, they're modulating pain pathways in your brain.
Third, they're affecting something called CGRP. That's a protein that plays a big role in migraines.
And fourth, they might be calming down overactive pain circuits. Like imagine your brain's pain alarm system is stuck on high alert, and these medications are helping to reset it.
That makes so much sense. And the fifth mechanism is probably the most relatable: blood sugar stabilization. A lot of us know that blood sugar crashes can trigger migraines.
And speaking of blood sugar, we actually got another message that ties into this perfectly. Maria from Phoenix told us she'd been dealing with weekend migraines for years. Every Saturday morning, like clockwork. She couldn't figure out why it was always weekends. Turns out she was sleeping in on Saturdays, skipping breakfast, and her blood sugar would tank.
And let me guess, she'd get this massive headache that would ruin her whole weekend.
Exactly. So after 3 months on semaglutide, she noticed something interesting. Even when she slept in and skipped breakfast, no migraine. Her blood sugar was staying more stable throughout those longer fasting periods.
That's such a perfect example of how these medications work beyond what we expect. Her weekends went from being dreaded to actually enjoyable again. And it really shows how that blood sugar mechanism might be more important than we initially thought.
Absolutely. And we're not the only ones hearing these stories. Doctors are starting to report similar cases, and patients are sharing their experiences online. There are entire Reddit threads and Facebook groups where people are documenting their migraine improvements. Some neurologists are even starting to take note and collaborate with endocrinologists on this.
Right, and this is really important. We have to talk about the warnings here. Some people actually report that their migraines get worse on GLP-1 medications.
Yeah, that's crucial. And these medications are not FDA approved for migraine treatment. Plus, without insurance coverage, we're talking about potentially thousands of dollars a month.
Exactly. So who might be the best candidates for exploring this?
Probably people who have both obesity and chronic migraines, or those with metabolic issues where blood sugar swings are triggering their headaches. The bottom line is we need way more research. This is promising, but it's still early days. Anyone considering this should definitely work closely with their doctor. And if you're already on these medications, don't hesitate to mention any migraine changes you're experiencing. Your doctor needs to know about both positive and negative effects.
Absolutely. But Sharon's cheese story It gives us hope that there might be unexpected benefits hiding in these medications that we're just starting to understand.
So true. One more thing to remember. If you do start seeing migraine improvements on GLP-1 medications, don't suddenly stop your other migraine treatments without talking to your doctor first. These effects might be temporary or might change as your body adjusts to the medication.
And as always, talk to your healthcare provider about any changes to your treatment. And I want to thank you for listening today. If you have your own story to share, reach out to me at Sarah with an H at mylifeonglp1.com. In the meantime, we hope you will take time out to leave our podcast a 5-star review, and I encourage you to visit Scott's website for the latest tips and articles. Scott, before we wrap up, tell us any final advice you might have on this head-pounding subject.
While not a clinical study, I can say that my headaches have absolutely reduced since I have been on my journey. Let me add that when I do get headaches, it is usually a telltale sign that my electrolytes, hydration, or nutrition is off. Thanks for joining us today, and since I have not put a plug in lately, did you know I wrote a book entitled My Life on a GLP-1, which is available on Amazon on paperback and Kindle? I hope you will check it out, as it is part guide, part hilarious cautionary tale, and a judgment-free zone. And like our podcast, it is your next best dose of honesty. On behalf of Sarah, I am Scott Johnson, wishing you migraine relief and great success. Stay safe and always remember to love your journey.